Peter Tesh, welcome. So Poland one day, Romania the next. What are the Russians doing here?
Well, good evening, Joe. Good to be with you again. I think what we're seeing is a very familiar pattern of Kremlin behavior. It's very clear that Russia is the one that is escalating the war that Vladimir Putin began. It's his brutal war of choice. And it underscores once more that Putin is provoked not by strength, but by weakness. And where he probes for resistance and does not find it, he will press home the advantage. So this is, I think, the attempt to expand the war, to test and to illuminate and the disagreements that are evident across the NATO and the European Union.
When you say this is an attempt to expand the war, what do you mean by that?
Well, I think Putin's smirk at the Alaska summit with Donald Trump tells us a lot. He is confident that time and the strategic advantage is on his side. He's also confident that Donald Trump will not back in Europe and NATO when it really counts. And so he is seeking to demonstrate to Europe and to European NATO members that he is not for turning. The talk about negotiations and the conclusion of some kind of enduring peace agreement is just talk from the Kremlin's point of view. And what he is seeking to demonstrate is that there is a potential price to be paid. 19 drones entering Polish airspace is not an accident. Of course, there were allegations late last year of Russian attempts to interfere in and manipulate Romanian presidential elections. I think it's no surprise that Romania, another frontline state, is also being probed by the Kremlin. And I think the aim here is to demonstrate that ultimately the best course of action is to make some kind of compromise with Moscow that suits Putin. And of course, that is precisely the course of action that Europe and the collective West must resist.
So what's happened recently in Romania that would prompt Russia to target it?
Well, I think Romania, of course, is part of the adversarial bloc in Moscow's eyes. It's a neighboring state of Ukraine. It has a certain vulnerability politically from Moscow's perspective in that it is vulnerable to attempts to manipulate, let's say, more pro-Moscow, pro-Russia political forces, those that are not entirely aligned with Romania's engagement with the EU, with NATO and the West. And I think this is simply an attempt to demonstrate that Russia can reach in and it can provoke and amplify the dissonance that exists in Western democracies. And it is part of destabilizing, because ultimately, if your adversary, from Moscow's point of view, is busily struggling with domestic political ramifications in the cause of being re-elected, not a challenge Mr. Putin faces, then that is all to Moscow's strategic advantage.